I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is everybody wake up and just about ready? Are there any additions or corrections to the consent calendar?
Ask that we can move P up with A, discuss them together, please.
Okay, anything else? Any additions or corrections?
Second.
Motion.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioners Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Mayor Lindstrom.
Aye. Next on the agenda is visitors to be heard. Members of the public may speak on anything that is not on the agenda for the evening. And if you wish to address the commission, you come to the podium, use the microphone, state your name and your address, and you have 5 minutes to speak. So are there any visitors to be heard? No? Okay, then we'll move on. Is Harold here? Okay, then we'll just.
Where you-
when he gets in here. Okay. So now we'll go to old business. We have the declaration of nuisance of trees and the order of removal for private trees. This item was tabled at the March 8th special meeting and the March 18th regular meeting to be revisited on July 17th. Not there? Okay. Thank you. The meeting, however, that date was advanced to the July 1st meeting so the full board could be present. The ash trees in the city of Canton are infested with emerald ash borer and are slowly dying, or quickly sometimes. A declaration was issued with the March 1st deadline to remove ash trees on private property. Attached is the declaration of nuisance of trees in order for removal in relation to the ash trees on private property that was suggested previously. So, want to talk about that? Any ideas?
I would say that they do need to come down. I mean, they're obviously in terms of potential danger, but I would say under the circumstances with everything that's happened recently, that we give people another 6 months to try to get it taken care of just for a financial standpoint.
Anybody else?
Tyler, did you have anything?
I think that's fair. We didn't have a set deadline, did we?
Well,
We kind of had a set deadline, but part of the deadline was what I would consider moving. That would at least give us a spot to start marking trees and telling, and sending out notices and getting more of a definitive timeline to have them removed.
I mean, and obviously there's already an ordinance. If the trees are dead, they should be down. So that's, I mean, this is just giving people an additional time for the trees that probably aren't fully dead.
like, and Jackie about this, if there's people out there, I just don't want to hear, so that would be what, April?
I guess that would probably be,
January-ish, February.
well, if we gave people 6 months, was it November 1st?
It was November 1st, right?
So if we go under from
Oh, you're
November
talking another
1st,
6 months?
yeah,
Okay.
that would be, I guess, May 1st then. Is that right?
I just don't want to hear May 1st, that they're not, those trees ain't leaved out yet, so I'm not sure if it's dead. You need them marked before when the leaves are still on them. And I talked to Chris too, we can definitely mark them for people, but I just don't want to hear about it
If they request it.
if they request.
So, anybody want to make a motion?
I would make a motion to move it to May 1st
2025.
of 2025, yes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to remove the trees. Give them till May 1st of 2025
Private.
For private, yes.
So, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
You have boulevard tree still November 1st, right?
So, you want to call roll?
Commissioners Garbers.
Aye.
York. Larson.
Aye.
Figurs.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. And next on the agenda, for old business is, domestic ducks within city limits. This item was tabled at the June 17th meeting, and Becky too is?
Yep.
Yeah. Will be present to discuss keeping of domestic ducks. And, currently, our ordinances only allow chickens with no roosters, so go ahead, Becky.
Okay. So ducks are in the same family as chickens. They're obviously all poultry as well as like turkeys. So they're very similar, not livestock,
Hold the mic down so people that aren't here can hear.
There you go.
not livestock, which our ordinance kind of makes them seem like they are. Ducks are actually way more resistant and healthier than chickens are. Chickens are supposed to be heartwormed, vaccinated, and they're carriers for like lice. Ducks do not have any of that. They don't need any shots, deworming, anything. They're not susceptible to ticks. They actually eat a lot of ticks. I've not had a tick. Male ducks don't crow or have the heel spurs like the male roosters do. My ducks do not free range. They are contained in a cage. They do not get out, like a little fenced in area. They're more resistant, like I said. They're also considered meat birds like chickens. Ducks, to keep them contained, you only need a 2-foot fence, whereas chickens, you need a 6. My daughter actually had a severe food allergy when she was a child and she could not eat chicken eggs. So she has always eaten duck eggs because we don't need to have a flare up. Ducks are way more adaptable to our temperatures as opposed to like chickens. They outlay chickens actually for eggs. I give my eggs away to the neighborhood
Whole neighborhood.
because they're big eggs.
Big best friends to those days.
Yeah. I actually have used my ducks for educational tools. I have twin nieces that are 5, and my ducks, 2 different ones, but have gone 2 different times to their preschool when they were doing Noah's Ark, so they could learn about animals. And since my ducks are really tame, the kids were actually able to like pet them and interact with them as opposed to like being out. I would hope nobody would try to chase a duck down. They're kind of fast. They also eat wasps, mosquitoes, Japanese beetles. And I've had them for 4 years, so the fact that somebody reported it after 4 years seems really strange. I feel like obviously they can't be like a menace to society if I've had them for 4 years. There might be
How many ducks do you have?
6.
Are they all,
5 females and 1 male. But the males are actually quiet. Like the opposite, like super quiet. And I have all different breeds too. So like, well, I mean, I have 2 Pekins, but they're different breeds, so they all have different, which is why I like to take them to the school. They all have different cool facts about them. Neighborhood kids stop and want to check them out all the time. I know there's a lot of people here in Canton that have them. So I really do think that just like the chickens permit, that it could be a viable way to bring in some extra funds. I know of 9 people that have ducks. Yeah. So, I mean, they're already here. You might as well maximize the dollars and just have them be permitted. That allows the city to like keep wraps like under the housing that they require, which ducks require far less housing requirements than chickens. So they actually are a lot easier to maintain. So yeah, I would pay for a permit. I don't think there's anybody in Canton that has ducks that would not pay for a permit. They're very friendly and they all have their own personalities and they're so much fun to watch. Anybody have questions or anything?
Yeah, does anybody have questions?
I have a question. Why do they have ducks as a animal you couldn't keep? Is it the noise or? Okay, well, if it's a noise issue, then why can people have large dogs that bark all night? So if that's the issue, I'm just gonna
I'm
complain
gonna
about
let the
dogs.
commissioners ask Becky first some
Okay.
questions, and you'll have a chance to come up and talk then.
Okay, gladly, thank you.
I just wanted to know, do you have any idea, or maybe someone else remembers why there was a fine?
Somebody
brought to you?
called City Hall, so I got a warning. Even the police officer, which I don't see him here tonight, but he was like, "Are they outside?" I was like, "No, it's raining. They're still in the coop." And he was like, "Because I got 20 ducks for my 16th birthday. They are so cool." And I was like, "You can swing by anytime and see them." Yeah.
But it wasn't because of it, it wasn't a noise or anything, it was
No.
just because someone saw you had dogs.
Yeah, I was like, did somebody just walk by? Because most of these are like my neighbors, and everybody's well aware. Like, I've asked them, I've talked to them, make sure that, like, backyard neighbors, if I was like, if you ever want to do anything at night, just tell me. I can always put them away early, because once they go in their coops, they go to sleep. And nobody has ever said anything at all negative. In fact, a lot of the neighbors I catch out there looking at them. And they bring over like garden scraps.
Yep, tomatoes.
Yeah, they're great.
Strawberries.
Yeah, oh yeah, strawberries.
Instant compost.
Anybody?
So you say you have these in a 2-foot fence, but no top on them?
Well, there's the actual outside fence. I just went with like a mobile, like an above ground pool fence, so it's not permanent. And then I have a fence in the middle because the boy gets a little feisty, only like one time a year. But then I separate him.
What do you do in the winter?
Oh, they're fine.
With snowbanks?
Never had a problem. Their coop is all untamed. It's very similar to like a chicken coop. So it has a metal roof on it and everything. And then I just put a tarp on the side. They love the snow. Like when we don't get 8 feet at one time and I can open up the doors, they will play in the snow.
I'm just wondering about them getting out
Nope.
if there's a snowbank.
Nope.
Any other questions?
The only other thing is our chicken ordinance or whatever is no roosters, so
But you could do that's because roosters are loud and they crow. Male ducks do not crow at all. He actually sounds, he's really quiet and they have like a super raspy voice. So it's just really low, but he's really quiet.
chickens we have 6, max up to 6.
Mhm.
8, I thought, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is 8.
Yes, I would make a motion that we follow a same ordinance as to the chickens. I don't think the male ducks are
No.
an issue necessarily, so I don't know that we need to put in there about the males, so.
Y'all are more than welcome anytime to come see them. They'll let you pet them. They love peas.
Chris, did you have, I thought you had something to say, no? So we need to rewrite the ordinance.
If it's approved, we would bring,
If it's approved.
a first reading for
Yep.
an ordinance.
And I would suggest that we do similar to what Sioux Falls has.
More than likely, we'll probably just modify our ordinances and allow domestic ducks
Right.
in the chapter along with chickens.
Okay, Jackie made a motion
I'll second it.
and Tyler second. If there's no other questions or information or that you would like to give out, you want to call roll?
Commissioners York,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Figures.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye.
Okay,
There you go.
we'll try and have the ordinance for next meeting.
If the other duck owners
Yeah.
are listening, they need to get.
I will. I'll tell them. We kind of got like a little clan. A lot of our money goes to bomb bars for snacks and treats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, let's go on to the,
Skip A.
yeah, we'll skip A and P and go on to the, it's not 7:30 yet. So, next on the agenda is the airport, the change order number 1 to the taxi lane extension. KLJ submitted the charge order number 1 for the airport hangar taxi lane extension for additional drainage improvements. The change order number 1 is for an increase of $6,786.50. And there's a motion, is this the one that the taxi, or the hangar people are paying for?
Yep.
Yep, okay. And this is being paid for by the hangar owners.
So it's not covered by the federal, this is all part of the tax lien extension that the private hangar owners are paying for. We've got the donated money already. That was based on an estimated bid. The bid came in a lot lower, so there's extra funds to pay for, and this is still FAA compliant, so.
Is it running through us?
Pardon?
Just running through the city.
Motion to approve?
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
You want to call roll?
Commissioners Larson, Piggers,
Aye.
Garbers,
Aye.
York, Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next on the agenda is the employee probationary period. David Soto did not complete his probationary period in Public Works Street Maintenance. His last day was June 18th, 2024, and a motion is required to accept the end of employment.
Motion.
A motion and a second. If there's no comments, you want to call roll?
Commissioners Piggers,
Aye.
Garbers,
Aye.
York, Larson, Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next is on the agenda is to advertise for the open position on public work maintenance. It is being recommended to advertise for the public works maintenance position vacated by David Soto.
Just got a question, I don't know if this is a lease question or, so we had the one that Jordan left to, does it matter which one we advertise first?
The one that Jordan, like water department Jordan was in? Well, that position's no longer available because we need Bill.
Okay, Bill.
Yeah, so this would just be strictly streets because we already have the shared one advertised. This would just be street maintenance.
So we'd have 2 open positions out.
We currently already have one out,
Okay.
but this will be it.
This will be a second.
Yep. But this one would just be strictly streets where the other one is utilities operator.
Thanks.
The only reason I asked that is because I'm not on the shop yet, we all, and I'm not saying they don't, we gotta work together, but talking to Chris Krogman, and I would just like to have a person that, I mean, they all back up Chris, but Chris needs somebody in water on Monday and street on Tuesday, Wednesday, back to water on Thursday, that we're not so hung up on what department they're in. I'd like to have a position that maybe is 50% paid by water and 50% paid by street, and they just get the work done.
Corey McNicholas is actually the person that's in that position right now on the water side. And he kind of works, well, he wants to transfer over and take Bill's old position as the water operator. So we're still, that opening is still open. We haven't done any interviews for that yet. So that's actually the position that Corey McNicholas is in right now, that works between the water department and also the street department. The person that David Soto was just strictly streets. That was the one that I needed to do the street sweeping and anything else that was backed up in streets. So that way I would free up Ryan for being able to do asphalt, gravel grading, whatever needed to be done on the street side. So being that we've had so much turnover because of people leaving, Jordan leaving, Bill transferring into utilities foreman. Corey at the time was in the street side. His position was vacated because he moved over to the water side to help out more with water, get his water certificates. Looking forward, he would like to transfer over as a water operator, but we haven't done interviews yet. So that's kind of essentially what Corey is right now. Obviously, you want us to work as a whole department and not just single departments. But we do need that person in streets because I'm short. I only have one guy in streets right now, other than the shop foreman in parks. But then they neglect things too because they're having to pull the extra stuff that takes that time. So if that makes any sense to you.
I know what you're saying, I don't know if we're gonna get hung up in the office of. So I kind of explained it already, I don't wanna get too hung up when we hire somebody if that's not the position we're hiring for right now. Because if the applications come in and we have one that maybe is better than what we're advertising for, I don't wanna be hung up that that's the only one we can hire right now.
Well, we advertise for that position. We'll have 2 positions open. So we've had 1 applicant and that's in-house. So, and it's been open for a week. So
I'll make the motion to advertise.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second,
Okay. There's no other questions, we're gonna call roll.
Commissioners Garbers,
Aye.
York,
Aye.
Larson, Biggers,
aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next on the agenda is employee raise. With the additional duties and responsibilities due to the change of the organizational chart, it's being recommended to increase Chris Croven, Director of Public Works, wage to $103,979.20 per year. That's a grade 15, step 13, and it's effective at the start of the next pay period.
I had some people ask, so I'll just explain that while the mic is on. When Jordan left, Jordan was in charge of water and sewer semi by himself. We changed, the reason for the organization change is now we've made Chris in charge of everything with Bill and Dennis in their respectable things. So now everything runs through Chris, not through 2 different people. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, we're gonna call roll.
Commissioners York.
No.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers,
Aye.
Garbers,
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. So 23, 20 time here. Next on the agenda is Beaver Creek Trunk Sewer Project. Devin Clay, the project engineer with JSA, has submitted a change order number 1 for the manhole and sewer repair on 10th and Main for the Beaver Creek Trunk Project. The increase in the original contract price is $8,098.12 for a total contract price of $5 million, $98.12. Good grief. So it requires a motion and a second to approve this change order. Is this something that got damaged and we're fixing?
No, what will end up happening is that Chris can explain it a little better, but when they were tying on to some of the old tile, it collapsed.
So-
And with it,
What essentially happened, they were working on the area of 11th and Main. And when we had to bypass to get the new sewer sanitary sewer put in, they had to bypass into that manhole, so that way all the sewer that was being put in from that area was bypassed into that manhole. Because our infrastructure is aging and we have literally some old clay tile, that manhole started to collapse because they had been trying to bypass with the extra sewer going in there. So they had done 3 test runs to make sure everything was good. Third time around, that's when that manhole started collapsing. So they got it repaired, they sealed it up, the manhole's repaired enough to buy us some time to get some things fixed in that area, but we gotta get this whole project done before we can move on to repairing that and further infrastructure. So they found a way to fix it and give us some time to prepare for what we need to fix in that area.
Okay, I was just wondering if that had been something that had been damaged before.
Well,
That would
and
be on them.
yeah, the bypass thing is a tough because you're literally
I
putting,
understand if it's clay.
yeah, you're putting more sewer into that pipe, forcing more sewer, probably not quite doubling it, but increasing it. So that pressure, just kind of having more flow in there caused things to crumble, and they were managed to get it repaired for us so we could actually still maintain it and they could move forward in the project.
All right. So, we'll make a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second, and call roll.
Commissioners Larson. Aye. Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York. Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next we have the signatory authority for South Dakota DANR. They require a subscriber agreement to be signed in order to give signatory authority to the individuals that intend to sign DMRs, which is discharge monitoring reports. The recommendations are to have a dual signatures of Chris Krogman and Bill Winter. So this requires a motion and a second.
Second.
Any other questions or anything? Okay, we call roll.
Commissioners Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York. Larson. Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye.
We are fringing close to 7:30.
Pardon? I thought it was 7:45 too, but he was told 7:30. Okay.
Do one, this will be,
We can do this one. This is for a contract agreement with Metro Construction. The city engineer has received the completed bonds, insurance, and contract agreement from Metro Construction for the Phase 2 Industrial Park improvements. That's on Innovation Street. And motion is required to accept this.
motion approved.
Second.
A motion and a second. If there's no other questions, you want to call roll?
Commissioners Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Well, fast, just get this one done. And the next item is notice to proceed. That's Phase 2 Industrial Park Improvements, Innovation Street. They've submitted the notice to proceed for Metro Construction for the Phase 2 Industrial Improvements for Innovation Street. So it requires a motion second to approve this submitted notice.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And call roll?
Commissioners York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. We're on a roll here. Well, we have 1 minute. Burbach is going to call in,
Yeah, we gotta set the phone right now.
what?
Gotta set the phone.
Oh, set up phone number. Well, I was just gonna give you, they'll be on a conference call to answer any questions regarding the pool change orders or any other pool-related issues.
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. We're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign. Access code or phone number you have dialed is incorrect. Your credentials once again. You entered 0, 0, 5, 4, 7, 4. Please re-enter your access code followed by the pound or hash. Access code or phone number you have dialed is incorrect.
That's not right.
Please type your credentials. Access code or phone number you have dialed is incorrect.
Yeah, so, number.
I'll guarantee you that's not going to be.
While he's doing that, and that's not on the agenda, can we kind of talk about school drop off?
Talk about what?
School drop off. Drop off.
Oh, yes.
Study went out on the Kent website, but we are shutting the school down as of Tuesday night, tomorrow night. It works out good because the Rebel site is closed tomorrow, but it'll be open on Wednesday. We are shutting that down Tuesday so we can finish cleaning and hauling out on Wednesday. Hopefully have it ain't gonna be all done, but have the piles out of there for the 4th of July.
One thing that's been asked, and it came up in conversations to City Hall, people were wondering why they can't pick things out of the pile. I would pretty much say you shouldn't be picking anything out of that
Insurance.
pile.
Insurance.
So we've had a couple people upset because we've chased them out of there. They shouldn't be picking out bricks and chainsaws and other things that probably have been in sewage. So just to reiterate, you probably shouldn't be picking anything out of that pile.
Been in sewage.
Jacob Teacher, 511 Blair Estates Circle. One thing I'd like to add on that, it sure be nice if we could get people to come up there and pick up the garbage.
I was up there picking up garbage
Yep.
on
Yep, there's been several of us that
Wednesday
has.
with my grandson. No,
Yeah.
Thursday.
There's been several of us that have, or whatever. It sure be nice to get it picked up though once the pile's gone before the weekend. Before it all blows all over town and we got another mess.
Thank you. Do we have a number for Burbuck?
I don't have a direct line, I emailed
Oh, okay, I was text Todd.
you. Todd might have one. I don't have one here, I always called the main line, I know.
We've had incidents about that pile. We've got tires up there right now,
TVs,
TVs.
paint,
I went up
tar,
there
Glue.
Saturday, and somebody brought a bucket of tar, tipped it over, and we had tar on the cement. Just. it's-
Also, people are using it as their household garbage too.
It's time to be done with the pile.
Yep. It's being abused now.
Mayor, can you recess?
Pardon?
Recess a second.
We call for recess?
Yeah.
You have motion second for that?
Motion.
Do not go.
Hold on a second, let me get caught up here.
You don't need one for a
Flip
recess.
all of it. Garber's motion, Tigger second, correct? That's supposed to be 8-0.
Call roll.
Drinking 40 ounces of water.
Commissioners Larson. Aye. Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye.
We are in recess.
So then.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be an 8, not a 0. Maybe I transferred over. We'll try that.
Okay. And then we switch to-
Thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. You're helping people around the world communicate for free. Please enter your access code file. If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please enter your PIN followed by Thank you. There is one other participant in the conference.
Dwayne,
Please announce yourself.
City of Canton. Are you there, Dwayne? Hey, sorry, Dwayne, we transferred some numbers over and apparently somebody thought an 8 looked like a 0, so it's a 0, so I had trouble getting in, but we got you now.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Call the meeting back to
I'm
order.
going to call the meeting back to order.
Question?
Second.
Let's see here, where am I at? Commissioner Speakers.
Aye.
Travers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstedt.
Hi. Okay, our meeting is back in session. This is for,
A.
okay, this is for, with Burbach Aquatics, and there are some questions, that they're going to ask about regarding pool change orders and any other pool-related issues. So go ahead and ask your questions.
Paul Berbers, Kyle, you could help me, back in June, we had a change order of $40-some thousand. What was that for?
I think that was for the piping for the heater, pool heater.
And now we got another one of $37,000. I'm wondering why were these not in the original bid?
Excuse me, this is Dwayne with Burback Aquatics. I'm one of the engineers working on the project. The project includes 4 entities. The helm is taking care of pool mechanical. Schwartzley is taking care of the in the bathhouse and some general construction. The pool committee, also in combination with the city, has got the pool mechanical building. And of course, the city is supporting the project as well. The $37,000 change order that's been mentioned is a unit price change order for the drilled piers. I'm going to turn off my computer because I'm getting feedback from the phone, so pardon me for a second. But I turned off the video link to your meeting, so it's just me on the phone now.
That's fine.
Order. The one for the piping was in the $4,000 range, and that's to pick up the needed combustion air and then piping for the pool heater. That was an item that was not picked up by the plumber, and it needs to be included in the project in order to make the pool heater work.
4,000 or 40,000?
Pardon me?
Without looking back, I'm not.
The one back in June, May or June, whenever it was, that way you had it, I thought that was 40-some thousand. But my question is why, when we initially started the swimming pool, we hired you to be the engineer of the whole project. Now, even if it got sorted into 3 or 4 different entities or whatever word you used, where are these change orders? Why weren't they in part of somebody's bid? Like this final drill depth, you want to just explain this $37,000 one first. Why have all of a sudden we have another $37,000 bill?
deduct links and some added links. The added links exceeded the deducts. That's unit price contracting based on the drill depth of the piers. That's how it's paid. The original, numbers were an estimate based on the geotechnical report, and those could only be approximations. We don't know what the soil conditions are until they drill the pier.
Guess I'm not an expert.
Regarding the other
Go ahead.
regarding the other contracts that, when we went through 3 bidding processes, and the third one, decision was made to negotiate with Helm and Schwartzley, and that the pool committee was picking up the mechanical building. Well, in that negotiation process, we have documentation on what is included. And there, as I got into construction, there were items that weren't included in those details. And that's why we're filling in with these change orders to make sure that the job is complete.
The one you're referencing, Paul, was probably from Schwartzley. Change order number 3, and that was for some excavation. Was for 42,000 per underground gas line, and to complete the work on the excavation of the mechanical building.
Did you hear that, Dwayne?
Yeah, I did. And so the gas line is something that would have been picked up either by the exterior plumber that Schwartzley had or by the in-house plumber. And neither one had the item for the underground gas line. And for the mechanical building, the concrete number for the foundations, but there wasn't a number for the excavation. So that's why Spielman had an excavation number to do the mechanical building work for the pool committee.
I understand that's gotta get done. I'm wondering why, how did it get missed to be in when we brought the 3 million or 4 million, whatever it was, to the citizens of Canton? When we said we'd accept it, how did this $42,000 bill? I mean, when we engineered it, didn't we know we needed it, or what?
No, we showed it on the print. It's just that in the detailing or the negotiation process, when we opened the books, these are items that weren't included in their scope, and now we're getting them in the scope so the job can be completed. There were deducts done in order to get the project down, and these are just items that weren't picked up in the listing.
And why? Why weren't they? That's my question. Why weren't they? I have citizens of Canton, that's the reason I'm on here, on this committee, is they're wondering why we have $100,000 of add-ons and we don't got the swimming pool open yet. The drill piers, I don't know enough about them, but I heard once is that when whoever Helms came in, that they had a better way to do it and we didn't have to drill so deep. Now, I'm not gonna go down that path, but I guess we're talking between the two of them, we're talking $80,000 that all of a sudden it's just a Canton bill, and we're spending the citizens of Canton that donated, and that
Well,
when we engineer a project, why is that not all somewhere in there?
excuse me, I need to assert that the alternative that some other contractor proposed wouldn't provide the quality control to keep your vessel from settling. So the drilled piers are a solid deep foundation solution to make sure that your pool stays aligned and you have appropriate rim flow moving forward. So you need to sort through what is hearsay and what we have for a project moving forward to get you a completed and quality project. And the contractor's been diligent in working through the project, given the weather conditions right now. So, it's not been an easy project to get completed, but they are staying on task and, certainly look forward to getting it completed.
Anything else? Do you have any more questions? Are you,
I don't have no more questions. I didn't really get mine answered, but
okay, there's no more questions, Dwayne. Thank you for calling in.
Well, you're welcome anytime. Glad to participate.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so right now we're on A,
We move P up to A.
and we move P up to A, yes. So there's two separate items there.
So now we're on to P.
Just
Okay, not yet, now we're on P. Find it. Okay, so. And this is a change order for the pool number 2. They submitted a change order for the Canton Community Pool. The change order is for the final drill depths. Contract time is increased by 0 days, and the contract amount increased by $37,203.52 for a total of $4,048,090.54. So,
motion to approve.
do we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, and call roll.
Commissioners Garbers,
no,
York.
No.
Larson,
Aye.
Biggers,
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, next is City Administrator, that's what we're on next. Okay, we're seeking to set up a city administrator style of government, and there will be many steps involved with the creation of this city administrator. We will need to create a job description and an organizational chart and set up the ordinance, and that will take the first reading and a second reading, so this will be a long process, so we need to get started on that now. And we need a motion to direct staff to gather and create a job description and an organizational chart.
who's in the staff?
You probably myself, Alicia, and city attorney.
And you're gonna create what,
We're gonna create a job description.
for this job?
Yes.
And an organizational chart
And an ordinance and
and the ordinance. To get started on that. Any questions?
Will this require changing like any of the current positions?
I don't believe so. It'll just be, you'll have a more or less a chief executive officer. Our ordinances currently, we don't have it, but years ago, we set up the city administrator in the ordinances. We don't have it currently, so we need to start with that. But we're also gonna need a job description and how we're gonna set up the organizational chart, where he's at in the organization, I should say, where that position lies,
So the commission can peruse it.
can act on it.
Act on it, look at
To look
it.
at,
Start
what
somewhere.
do you guys do?
Pardon me?
I mean, organizational chart, you're gonna work one up and then bring it back to the commission, is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Jackie, is there a second? There's no other questions, you want to call roll?
Commissioners Garbers,
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. So, next on the agenda is the Beaver Creek Trunk Sewer Project, pay application number 4. The project engineer with JSA has submitted a pay application for the Beaver Creek Trunk Sewer Project. The pay application is $239,771.95. The breakdown of this payment amount is attached if you've seen it. And a motion is required to pay the application. Motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions or discussion? If not, you want to call roll?
Commissioners York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Okay, next on the agenda is a full-time police officer hire. It's being recommended to hire Nielsen Conley as a full-time police officer at $30.39 an hour. That's grade 12, step 5. And a motion is required to approve that hire. Let's go forward a minute, Troy. He already has all his certifications and everything, right?
Yes, he's got approximately 15 years of experience.
Okay.
So he's currently working part-time for us. So that'll vacate that one part-time position also.
Reason for line item.
Excuse me?
The reason for the next line item.
Correct.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been open and second. Do you have any discussion? If not, you want to call roll?
Commissioners Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next item is the advertise for a part-time police officer. It's a position vacated by Nielsen Conley. So, and they just called in for emergency
Correct. I would
vacations.
actually like to offer 2 positions for this. We have, doesn't come out of our budget at all. So what we use this for is for special events, the car show, Civil War days, things of that nature. We pay them at a lower rate, so then I don't have to utilize overtime in case of a vacation or special events. So financially, it works to our benefit to have more people in our pool, if you will. And then also, since I've been here, we've hired 4 part-timers to be full-time staff. We're able to give them a trial run, see how they work out. It's a real smooth transition, not near as much training time. So I would like to advertise for the part-time position, but hold 2 from.
Is that what we would have had to put on the agenda?
We're just advertising for part-time officer. When we come to hiring, then we'll hire them.
All right. So, requires a motion in a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion in a second. Any questions or discussion? If not, we'll call roll.
Commissioners Biggers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York. Larson. Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye, thanks, Troy. Next is the 4th of July holiday. Governor Noem declared that the state government office closed on Friday, July 5th in observance of Independence Day and is granted administrative leave. Our personal manual states that other holidays proclaimed not working holidays by the President of the work on July 5th. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? You call roll?
Commissioners Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Biggers.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstrom.
Aye. Next is the purchasing of trash pumps. And we need to have a discussion about purchasing 2 trash pumps.
Kind of did some research on some of this in a short amount of time. Been approached by a couple of different vendors. We talked to Biersbach, kind of got an idea. Obviously, they've got used pumps. They're at 2022 pumps, but they have about 1,000 hours on them, maybe close to 1,500 hours. 4-inch one is 36,500. Another one is 33,500 with 1,200 hours.
Is that both used?
Both used.
Okay.
What is the lifespan of like pump usually?
You really don't want to get one with a lot of hours because then it's been kind of, you know, how much has been done to it to rebuild,
What's a lot of hours?
overhaul it.
What's a lot of hours?
Usually 1,500 hours is pretty, you're gonna have to really tear it down and redo everything on it. Because what happens with any kind of pump, cavitation happens. So a lot of these pumps are newer pumps, so they're self-priming, so cavitation doesn't happen. They'll shut off once suction gets to a certain point. Just in case in point, here's one out of Des Moines. That's a 6-inch. That's a 2018. They want 51,000 for it. So we were approached by a vendor out of T, and he was supposed to email me a quote on a 4-inch pump, but just a brand new one, 6-inch is 66,000. So in my mind, it makes more sense to get a new pump to not have the worry of having to rebuild it because you don't know. A lot of these pumps are rentals. Biersbach has a lot of rental pumps. Not saying that they're bad, but you don't know what you get until you've, in my mind, it makes more sense to get newer pumps. If he gets me that quote back on a 4-inch, I would say maybe it's gonna be probably around 50,000 on a new one, but I can't guarantee that's what the cost is gonna be. I did talk to him today a little bit. He came in and he said if we do purchase 2 pumps, we get breaks on prices too, so. But in order to have the kind of pump we need, like the one we currently are using, that we
That's how
have,
big.
that one is a 4-inch pump. And that one, when we got it, only had, I believe Kyle was like 100 hours on it. I'm not sure. It was a very low hours on it.
I don't remember. I looked at the bill and I was thinking that might have been brand new.
It might have been
Or it might
brand new
have been a
too.
demo that had 5 or 10 hours on it.
Yeah, so and we've had that since 2014. But it got used so hard that in the previous couple of years down the road that we had to actually rebuild that pump because it got idle too high and it was literally eating itself away because it was pumping so hard. So the big thing is that some of these pumps having to go through all this, and I mean, the pump that we're currently using to pump out the main lift, we find that if you run it at 2,500, it likes it there, but you don't run it any faster. But if you run it at 1,100, it's also pretty happy. You just get a certain things start to act up and cause problems with suction. Currently with the main lift, the way it's going, we're really, really in a good spot, but we tried to shunt the pump down this morning and we filled it right back up. And high alarms started going off on the main lift, so we're gonna, throughout the week, keep that pump going. We just wanna make sure, and the biggest thing right now is we're getting a lot of I&I infiltration from stormwater. That's why it's so clear coming out of that pump. So the biggest thing is you get a used pump, you're kind of stuck with what you got and you really don't know what you have. You get a new pump, at least you get somewhat of a warranty on it and you know you're getting a brand new pump. These newer pumps are designed to run longer and you don't have to have them monitored. The old pump that we weren't sure if it worked or not, we did get it running, but it's one that you have to constantly babysit because it has a strainer basket. So obviously you get raw sewage and you can find ping pong balls, water bottles, whatever. You got to pull that out of that strainer basket. So you have to shut that pump off, get all that stuff out of the strainer basket, and then start it back up. That's one of the older pumps. Our pump that we're currently using at the main lift is one of the new pumps that's designed to, once it hits a certain point, it shuts off. If it loses suction, it shuts off. It
Will it
doesn't keep
start back
running.
up?
What's that?
Say it'll shut off if it gets down there, will it start back up?
No, because what it needs to do is you need to go back and reset it and start it back up. It's a safety mechanism for the pump so it doesn't eat itself and continue to keep sucking air and cavitate. So these new pumps are designed to be self-priming. Now that's also a benefit too, because the older pumps, you had to prime them to get them to go. The one that we had thought that didn't work is one that you have to self-prime. Or you have to actually not self-prime, but you have to prime it by hand and then you get it started and it runs. So every time you shut it down, you have to prime it back up. The one that we're currently using is a self-prime and it works just fine. But with the constant use we're using on it, it's gonna get to that point.
How many hours are on the one?
I think the last time I checked, it was about 300 or something. I'm
That
not
was
really
four
sure.
seventy when
And
we
maybe
were down there.
470, I don't know. It's
been a
hard
few years
to,
ago.
we'll kind of gauge what we need to do with it. We went back when it had problems back in, I believe it was 2019, that we went through it and had to rebuild the whole thing and put a new gas tank on it or a new diesel tank on it because it literally shook itself to a point where it wrecked itself.
That's something we can do in shop or we send it out.
Yeah, that was something we did in shop. So we welded the tank and got it all leak tested and we rebuilt the whole pump, and that's things that we can do on our own. But like I said, you get into these used pumps, you really don't know what you have. So
are you recommending that we get
I would,
4 or 6?
I think we should probably, for the first, probably start with the 4. The 6 would be nice also, just because the main lift is a large main lift and it will pump really good with a 6-inch, but you can't put a 6-inch in a manhole either. We ran into, when we put the 4-inch in from South Dakota Warren this last week, we tried to pump out South Pleasant. And we pumped out a manhole trying to relieve some of the pressure, and that pipe or that pump actually got stuck in the pipe. So that it kind of tells you that you don't want anything bigger than 4-inch in a manhole because it will get stuck in a pipe. So
would it be smarter to have some 2-inch pump?
not necessarily. I mean, the problem you get with is it takes longer and then it's not as mobile. You'd have to put it in the back of a truck and then you'd have to babysit that pump. And with the 4-inch, if we have it trailer mounted, you could literally idle it down to 1100 and just have it just slowly pump out. And then it'll shut off once it gets to a certain point when the manhole's supposedly pumped down. So. But I'll leave, if you guys have any questions on that, it's something that we're trying to figure out what works best for us. A 6-inch would be nice for the lagoons also. So, I mean, it would be nice to have a 4 and a 6 really, just going forward. But, you know, obviously if we get one this year would be the best thing. We still have the one from South Dakota Warren, but that's on a loan basis. I mean, eventually they're gonna ask that somebody else will need it, or, you know, we're trying to keep it with us right now just because of the situation we're in.
And if we get 2, this company will give us a discount if we were to purchase 2 at the same time?
That's the talk from the guy, the salesman that stopped by. He said if you were to get 2, we would get a discount, but then we go into, I believe Kyle said we'd have to go into bidding because it would be more than
Anything above
50,000.
50,000, we would need to bid.
Yeah.
The 166, I'm sure the other one's in the high 40s, if not low 50s.
Yeah, it could be just under 50. I don't know for sure without having seen a quote, so.
And realistically, it's not that hard to write bid specs, it just takes a little bit longer to.
Yeah, you just have to open it up to other bidders and they submit their bids based on what you're asking for. If you ask for a 4 and 6-inch pump, 2 pumps, they can give you a package deal, but it might be different from one vendor to another.
I'm just asking if it would be more beneficial to purchase it that way. If you get, say, if they gave you 10% off, I mean, that may be more beneficial than buying.
Yeah, without seeing the quote on the 4-inch, we really don't know. And, you know, maybe he will send me an email tomorrow or the next couple of days and we'll have a better idea. But going forward, I would think other places would do the same. I'm not sure, but I think if you bought 2 pumps at once, they would be more prone to run a package deal.
What's our concern about going to bid?
We don't have one.
Okay.
No, I don't.
It just takes a little longer.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when we called around for pumps, back when we were dealing with this last week, there was no pumps available.
Right.
I mean, we
Rightfully
just,
so.
yeah, I mean, everybody was using them, and
Sure.
South Dakota Warren has theirs based on a loan program, and we actually got the one from Worthing. So we were lucky to get that. They asked us if we needed another one. Well, when we started figuring out where we were at and how things were draining back so quick, we were actually doing pretty good. But once again, there's so much I coming in that main lift that we can't shut it off and just go with the two pumps that we have in the main lift, the regular pumps that work. It's just too much water coming in, and we gotta be, I mean, I think everybody's seen the forecast for this week. We'll probably get rain tonight. I don't wanna say I want it, but we know it's probably gonna happen. I mean, we just had a downpour earlier this afternoon.
So we do have a backup right here now, that loader pump.
Yeah, we have that one from Warren, and we have that one that we would have to babysit and empty the strainer basket. We made sure that it actually worked. It took a lot of work to get it going again, but we were unsure of where it was at, and it wasn't ready to be used because, well, it had been sitting since, I would say, 2019 was the last time it ran, so.
So would you say we're more on a time crunch to get one than we
I
have a
would,
bid?
I guess, if, I don't wanna say that Warren's gonna ask for their pump back, but they might. So I think if anything, we probably need to get a 4-inch just to make sure we have a backup. In case our main, the one we're using right now decides to bite the bullet.
Okay, how quick can we get a bid set up?
If I get specs, I can have one done and ready for the next meeting.
Will that be soon enough?
I believe so.
Did the salesman give you any kind of lead time?
No, and that's the other problem. I don't know exactly where they'll come out of. I don't know if he has it actually sitting in T or if their Beersbach has something. These are companies you gotta kinda, like I said, trying to get a pump was hard last week. I don't know if they have lead times out on some of this stuff, but if we want to be prepared, I think it would be sooner than later.
I probably know my answer. Kyle, do we have to get 3 bids or do we actually have to put it up for bid?
It physically has to go out to bid. If it's above $50,000, then the bidding rules come into place. We have to advertise in the local newspaper. We can't open bids any sooner than 10 days after the date of publication. So it does extend it out probably a month and a half.
So that might be our lead time for a pump too, who knows?
Yep.
But I'm not the salesman, so I don't know either, so. I'm sure there's other places that are looking for pumps also. I'm sure we're not the only one.
We get another rainfall and we don't have a pump, well, none of us up here are gonna have skin left.
You won't be the only one.
But I was told by, the Department of, what is it, emergency safety?
Emergency management.
He told me that they have another pump if we need one.
Yeah, I know, I talked to him too, and we do have, if we needed to get a 6-inch, we could get there. But you don't know where it's gonna hit right now, and I think that's a program that they provide for people that are in dire need of getting, I mean, yeah, we're there, but we didn't give the 4-inch back yet. We're still holding on to it in case things go sideways.
I'm all about a discount, but I think for the circumstance where we're at, I would like to, if it's you, go out and get 3, 4 from Beersbach and your tea guy, and hopefully a couple more, and get them numbers, and if we have to have a special meeting to okay it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's under 50,000 and we can move forward.
One thing I did want to point out too is our lagoon system. We are currently discharging. And we are sitting to the point now where we're down 2 feet in the first cell. So we're actually starting to get down in our cells. So that helps also because that's what stores all our wastewater. But the problem we run into too is we will get to a certain point where we need to shut that off because we can't violate past a certain point. So I mean, we'll get it as down as far as we can, but I think we're looking at discharge for probably another 2 weeks yet, just to make sure we're gonna be okay going into the rest of the summer and part of the fall, because discharge usually happens in the spring and the fall, because your limits are easier to meet based on how your ammonia is and everything else that comes with wastewater.
Chris's department.
We'll make a motion, Chris, or don't, no?
I don't want to necessarily wait 6 weeks for a savings of 5 to 10 grand. So I'm saying use our people to try to find a good price on a 4-inch pump, maybe a 6-inch pump. I have a feeling that a 6-inch pump is out of reach.
Under bid limit, that's what it would be.
Yes, so an additional 4-inch pump would be great, and then be ready next year or the year after to get a 6-inch pump. So we're sitting with 2 4s and a 6. I'm a little concerned on what we did differently in 2014 and 2019 versus 2024. What were these folks saying to us that we had manholes we were pumping water out of, and this year we didn't? You know, I feel like we didn't provide the same service in an emergency situation that we possibly could have.
A lot of what happened with this one too is where were we gonna put it? I mean, the river was up so high that even if we did pump these out, how much more would you have been able to pump out when you would just be recycling it back in? We had levels that were so high that we were sucking in river water from the ocean and water that we had coming through these manholes from these old areas and from some of these, it was just literally sucking in river water.
So then it was a failure of communication. We didn't communicate to our citizens.
I don't think you could prepare for what we had.
We left them on their own for a significant period of time where we didn't show our face, we didn't show our emergency vehicles saying, we're doing everything we can. And they literally tracked us down in parking lots and said, where are you guys?
Well, I can testify to being out on Cedar trying to get the storms unleashed so we could get some of the water down. But at the time, we're trying to get storms opened up so it could drain through the storm. But river kept coming up. I mean, we had to evacuate the shop. It's right up to our building. It was almost into the main lift. We could have been really bad if we would have been sucking in through the main lift when the river kept coming up. And it wouldn't even mattered at that point because we would have just been pumping out the main lift wouldn't have done any good because the river would have been in the main lift.
14 and 19, we didn't see these levels.
I don't know about 14, that wasn't here.
I just think we have to communicate these things to folks that, hey, it's not that, because they seriously were, I'm not speaking crazy. I had 56 people reaching out to me saying, where are the pumps? And I had just got here in 13, so I was completely unaware of a whole lot of what was going on in 14 because I just got here. But the significant difference between 14 and 24 are alarming.
Difference between
10 inches and 20 inches.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Like,
So I think it was just a communication failure on our part.
I think too, talking to the former public works director that was before me, he had never seen levels that high that were all the way up to the shop. So that was a new experience for all of us that it was to that point. I mean, I've never seen the stop sign down at the gate down by the bus garage that it's just totally submerged and it's creeping up into the bus garage. I mean, I haven't been here other than I've been here for 22 years, but I've seen enough that I don't like it any more than anybody else. I've had my basement flooded 3 times. and sewer in my basement 3 times. It was just an event that all this water came down that I don't think we could have even really just tried to pump out manholes, because I don't know if it would have been a winning war for that part of it.
So I'll do some sort of motion of purchasing 4-inch pump. I don't know what you want me to have.
If it's
After the quotes are,
After the quotes are brought in, not a 6-inch pump, I'm assuming a 6 inches on the paper.
With the current quote of 66 it is, we might be able to get one for a 4-inch.
I do not suggest a used one,
no,
maybe for Hardyville.
So we want Chris to do this tomorrow, what do we want to do this?
pardon?
Yes.
Listen, call on.
So we got a T guy that came and seen you, we got Beersbach, we can call about new.
Yep.
And
And I could reach out to Goodland Pump, that's who we actually bought our Magnum pump that we have right now. I don't know if they'll be able to point us in a direction to help us, but I'll reach out as much as I can to different sources to try to find something.
I can get you tomorrow. It might be totally different, but, a tile pump, you got a pump tile, farm tile out, carries pumps. I believe we're in Iowa, I can get your phone number, but I agree, we need to get one sooner. As long as we can stay another 50,000, let's get 4 bids and choose from them 4.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second,
And call roll?
Here a second, I gotta figure out where I'm at again. Commissioners York,
Aye.
Larson, aye. Biggers,
Aye.
Garbers,
aye,
Mayor Leinster.
Aye. Okay, that concludes everything on the agenda, I think, we skipped around so much.
That's everything that I could see.
Okay. So Commissioner Dialogue, do you have anything?
did talk to Joel Aaron's, the Lincoln County Commissioner today. And Saturday I went up and walked the end of Cedar Street, went into the school property, walked the railroad tracks from up there down to Fifth Street, seeing where the water went. And we're talking to Joel today, I would like to, I don't know if it's a motion, but he's in favor of getting a task, people from the county, the school, and the city, and figure out these 2 major rivers that we had coming through town. Cedar Street and then the one that hit Keystone.
Do we need a hydrology?
I'm not sure what we'll leave with that right now. I mean, if we're doing a task force to find out, then we can move from there.
I just wanted to add something quick. Back when Moses was commissioner, we had talked about extending Elder through and trying to get it all the way through by the elementary school.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we have the information from Myron, from what the engineering cost would be. That would stop a lot of what happened through Keystone, because we could put storms through there and discharge into Christmas Lake, but of course, Christmas Lake had its own issues. Yes, so I mean, not saying that's the answer, but it would have helped the situation down by Keystone if we would have had a through road, because it came down the hill from the school and right through Keystone.
It would have helped, but keep in mind too, that every time these storm sewer projects are designed, they're designed on a lot smaller scale than a 100-year flood, because the infrastructure to handle a 100-year flood is.
Yeah, Harold said it last time we had
Not even
that special
remotely
meeting.
close to obtainable.
So, I mean, it's something to think about. We did talk about extending Elder through, and it would be something to talk to Keystone. I'm sure they would appreciate it.
It could help.
The school district would appreciate it too.
But now is the time to go to Keystone and see if we can get that property to do it.
Correct.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Jackie? Tyler?
Nothing.
Chris?
No.
Okay, I don't have anything at this time, but I am going to call for an executive session for legal purposes under South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2.
So moved.
All right.
Commissioners Larson.
Aye.
Bickers.
Aye.
Garbers.
Aye.
York.
Aye.
Mayor Lundstedt.
Aye.
Hold on now.